Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host Vishal Kapoor. I hope you're doing well, your summer is going well, and you survived the recent rainstorm in Greater Toronto area. So I was vacationing. I was away in US, and when I heard the news, so much rain happened, I was worried about a little bit about my rental property and my own property. Like, what's going on? Like, it's my basement is safe because I heard a lot of flooding happen in Oakville as well. A scary one was like to see Glen Abbey Golf Course, like it was submerged in water. 16 Mile Creek was running high, and a lot of stories happening around in Burlington, Oakville, Greater Toronto area, like especially in downtown, like so much flooding happened. DVP was totally shut down because of the flooding, and I believe it's like I will say like couple weeks of rain happened in within 3 hours. Is that right? So I hope you were safe, your property was safe. So I thought about why not talk about what are things which we can do to prevent our basement into flooding, and does insurance cover your basement flooding? Is that by default, or you have to take that separately to protect? So we're going to discuss about whether insurance will cover such incidents or not. That's what it is, right? And sometimes you'll get surprised to see that an insurance doesn't cover that. But before all that, what we can do to avoid such kind of damages, and some of the proactive measures, what I have took or my clients have took in the past, is going beyond extra, what's not only what builders cover, like the normal sump pumps and stuff, but what they did extra. What happened, if your power goes out as well and your sump pump is not running? So first of all, definitely you have to look into that. If you don't have already, install a sump pump with battery backup. Yes, a sump pump can help remove water that accumulates in the basement. A battery backup ensures it continues to work during power outages, which are common during severe storms. So a lot of people don't think about that way. A lot of people are not doing that way, but it will be a very good idea to have the battery backup. And any other equipment, in your house, which can cause a problem, battery backup will be great. Second thing is, we always talk about the maintenance. And a lot of time these leaks happen, especially in older areas and older properties, is because of seals and cracks, which can create leaks. So ensuring that all cracks and leaks in walls, floors, windows, and foundations are sealed can prevent water from entering the basement. But sometimes it's also happened, that basement is finished and behind the drywall, they crack. You cannot look into those ones. So it might be a good idea when you hear something or you smell something, it might be a good idea to get it checked. Use a moisture meter. You can get it from Home Depot, or you can call your home inspector, or even your realtor might have it to check the moisture in your basement, what moisture level is. And a lot of time it also happened that because you're not maintaining your eaves troughs and downspouts. So regularly cleaning eaves troughs and downspouts of leaves and debris ensures proper drainage and prevents water from overflowing and seeping into the basement. And we have seen so many times when I did my podcast regarding the fall maintenance and even spring maintenance, I always recommend that make sure you check your downspouts and eaves troughs, because those are the places when, because of the winter, because of the leaves, all the dust get accumulated. And most of the time, we don't clean that. So regular maintenance is an answer. And the other thing is with the downspouts, even the new builders, they're not putting those things properly. Sometimes you see that it's coming right on the shingles if you have a second level, and it's keep on damaging that shingles as well. Sometimes you see that the grading is not done properly, or the water is not throwing away from your foundation, and that can create an issue. So make sure you do that. What I did in my property, and thanks to my neighbor actually, that we put the pipe which goes underground, and then it goes to the sewer side. And that helped in maintaining that property, because that will fix for a long time, because the water is not going to go on towards your foundation, and which can create issues, right? Grading, that's the other part. One, people do their landscaping a lot of time around the house. And around the house, what happens is the mud and the soil, due to water, it can go down and it seeps down there. So before you do that, make the water barrier, which you put it there if you're doing a landscaping. So make sure that water is not seeping in your foundation, which can later cause an issue. And these little things, these are small things, but if you are proactive, that you can avoid that. You can avoid that big time. The other precautionary measures you can take is install backwater valves. And these valves prevent sewage from backing up into the home during heavy rainfall. Many municipalities offer subsidies for installing these devices as well. So check with your municipality, with your town, if there's some subsidy, and check if your builder have installed that. Most of the time it might not. So get it installed. Install backwater valves. I think most of the new builders with the new building codes and everything, they're doing it. But honestly speaking, I'm not 100% sure that all the builders are doing that. So that's, if you do that, look into, get it checked, and make sure that you have installed backwater valves. I already talked about the lot grading, ensuring the ground around the home slopes away from the foundation help. This helps a direct water away from the house, reducing risk of basement flooding. I know the damage, once it happened, then we start thinking about that. But if we do that proactively, then things will be better, and you might not find that issue at all. The other thing people think a lot of time, that insurance coverage for flood damage is automatically done. So standard policies and most standard home insurance policies do not cover overland flooding, which occurs when water from rivers, lakes, or heavy rain flows onto dry land and into houses. However, they may cover water damage caused by sewer backups or burst pipes. So there's two differences depending upon how the water is coming, how your basement got flooded, and that will determine, that will cover your basement from flooding or not. There's always an optional coverage, and you probably heard from insurance companies, they always offer that for you, that homeowners can purchase additional coverage for overland flooding as an add-on to their standard policy. So read your policy carefully when you're buying the insurance, because a lot of time, like, we don't read that because there's so many pages and so many fine lines that you might not consider that it covers or not. So the coverage is becoming more common as extreme weather events increase in frequency. So my recommendation is, like, get that optional coverage. Even you have to pay a little bit extra, but believe me, that'll be much cheaper than the damage it will cost or financial loss it will happen in building that back to like a normal. So building your basement again or renovating again and fixing all that issues, it will cost you less when you adding that optional coverage. The other things which you have to consider when you're doing the claim is it is essential for homeowners to review their insurance policies and understand what is covered. I already just mentioned that. I'm just reading my script right now. As help me, so I don't miss any part of it. But at the same time, sometime I go ahead a little bit what I have to say. So in the case of recent Toronto flood, many homeowners found out too late that their policy did not include overland flood coverage. And those with the appropriate coverage could file claims for the damage, but those without it face significant out-of-pocket expenses. Right now, I was reading it, how many damages happen? I think the coverage goes around $1 billion. $1 billion a damage has happened in Greater Toronto area, which is very significant. Making sure that that everything is we cannot be 100% all the time. We might miss something, but sooner we find out, better will be. Here's a real life example of what's preventing costly damage. And this was one of my client. I'm not going to name because they say don't name me. But they took several proactive steps to protect their home from flooding. She installed a sump pump with a battery backup. That's why I was mentioning in the starting. And that was new to me that time as well. I didn't realize and this is my starting years in real estate, that, we should install the battery backup as well for the sump pump. What happens if the light goes away, right? So what she did, actually, she installed a sump pump with the battery backup. She sealed all the cracks in her basement walls and regularly cleaned her eavesdrops and downspouts. And she also had a backwater valve installed, ensured her lot was graded properly. And this lady really inspired me. She was always proactive. When we were buying the property, she wanted the home inspection not to just the home inspection to be done for negotiation. She really wanted to know that what she has to cover and what she has to repair. So in that way, she can live happily. She was a single mom for 3 kids, and say I don't want any hassle later because I don't want people coming in and out all the time. So I want to make sure everything is proper. So what lesson we can learn is the Jane's story, her story highlights the importance of taking preventive measures to protect your home from flooding. Regular maintenance and the right upgrades can make a significant difference during extreme weather events. And recently I was just talking to her and, and she said that, her home remained dried and proactive measures and regular maintenance paid off. She said, her neighbor was her house got flooded and they have the finished basement. which was not done properly, unfortunately. And she had a lot of damage happen. Their kids toys, they do a PlayStation and everything was like they keep on the ground. Oh, that's the other thing which I want to mention is a lot of people have that tendency that basement they use as a storage, even as like an unfinished basement they use as a storage, and they leave things on the ground. My recommendation is like put things on the shelves, put on a little bit upper level. So if by any chance like a flood happened, that you are covered. It won't cause your important things which can get damaged. So keep on the level high and don't leave things on the floor, on the ground. That will help. What else? Well, we talk about the sump pump, we talk about landscaping and grading, gutters and downspouts, foundation cracks, backwater valve. You can also disconnect downspouts from the sewer system. Like I had mentioned, we have the sink in the back, from the city sink. The water runs through that, because they did the grading. And what we did is we ran the pipe over there, so it goes directly in there, so it's not causing any damage. Maintain your sewer lines and septic tank. So if you are on the rural property, I know there are a lot of properties. I have some of my clients in Campbellville area, rural Milton area, and they have a septic tanks. And for those people, have your septic tank pumped as needed. That's you don't want that mess, believe me. Clean sewer lines when signs of clogs develop. So regular maintenance is always recommended. You can also consider installing a French drain. This can help redirect water away from your foundation. One important thing, and a lot of people don't realize that you can, avoid storing, you reduce water usage during heavy rains. Why is that? Well, avoiding activities like laundry or running the dishwasher during storms to reduce strain on the sewer system. So, because that's also putting a lot of water there in the sewer system. When you can reduce that way. Don't do the laundry. Even also, if the storm happened, you don't want any electrical things to go wrong or get damaged. So make sure that you can if you can avoid that. The other important part is a maintenance of and inspect plumbing. These days, all the insurance companies, even the Reliance and the other utility companies also asking you for the plumbing maintenance. Get those plumbing maintenance. It's much easier when things happen. If your sink is not working properly or the drainage issues, that can really help. So have that maintenance. The other thing which you can do is install window wells for basement windows. So ensure proper drainage for any below grade windows. So install window wells, and by implementing these measures, homeowners can significantly reduce the risk of basement flooding and protect their property water damage. Now, we're talking about the maintenance. What you can do, and a lot of time we avoid that, especially in the older houses, musty odor, a persistent musty or damp smell in your basement is often one of the first sign of excess moisture and potential water infiltration. This odor can indicate the presence of mold or mildew, which thrive in damp environments. Cracks in the foundation, we talk about that, regularly check that. Water puddles outside. After heavy rain, check for water collecting around your home's foundation. Puddles or pools of water near the foundation can eventually seep into your basement. So proper grading and drainage, and I cannot insist enough that how important that is, and that can help direct water away from your home. Damp or stained walls, that's the other sign. Sump pump problems. Make sure you're running your sump pump regularly, because in some places, like a sump pump doesn't run regularly. So what you can do is basically you can put like some water and like a bucket of water and see like your sump pump is working properly or not. A malfunctioning sump pump can effectively remove water from your basement, and regularly test your pump sump to ensure it's good working condition, and consider installing a battery backup, which I mentioned before. Thanks to my one of my client who taught me that, and it helped me actually big time, because one of my sump pump was not working on one of my rental property one time, and I'm glad like just after that like I installed the battery backup. The other signs could be rising utility bills. If you see the significant rise in utility bill, or not like even a slightly more than your regular, that may be the indication that's hidden leaks or water infiltrations. And so monitoring your utility bills can help you catch these issues early. Water stains or peeling paint, higher water tables, unusual sounds when you hear like something is, when it's raining, or in the normal, like at the drainage, you hear like unusual sounds. That could be caused because of the drainage blockage. So address these blockage early can prevent basement flooding. One more thing, condensation on windows. If you notice significant changes in your basement window and condensation especially, this can indicate high humidity levels, which contribute to basement moisture and potential flooding. So check those condensation as well. Keep on checking your weather pattern. Like, these days in Canada, most of the time we talk about weather and how the weather is changing and everything. So I'm pretty sure that you aware of that. But if you're not, like, stay informed about local weather forecast, especially during heavy rain or snow melt periods, which can increase the risk of flooding. Other thing is health symptoms. So, for example, like, if you finding in your household that your kids, your parents, or yourself having allergies or respiratory issues, and that can directly indicate moisture and mold growth. And that could be in your basement. Because I remember, like, one of my client and their kids, like, used to play in the basement all the time. And every time I meet with them, like, they talk about, their kids are sick and they having some respiratory issues. So I was mentioning to them, like, check your moisture level in your basement. And that could be a problem. And addressing these health symptoms can help you identify and resolve moisture issues. So there's a lot. Definitely, when you're buying your home, you can also check your home is in a flood zone area, and you can go to the FEMA's Flood Map Service Center. Check your local government resources. Use online flood risk assessment tools. Consult flood insurance providers. Review property documents and contact local authorities. And if you're buying the older property, hire a land surveyor as well for the most accurate assessment, not only, but consider hiring a professional surveyor for who can determine the property's exact elevation and flood zone status as well. So there's a lot which you can do to prevent. I hope your home is not flooded and never get flooded. And that's my hope and prayer for you. But you have to do the work. If you're not doing the regular maintenance, go today and find out, if your basement is secured. Okay. If it didn't happen this time, it may or can happen later. So why take a risk? Well, enjoy your summer. And I know it's a beautiful weather, and a lot of people are traveling, a lot of people doing a staycation. I did my travel. I really enjoyed it. I went to North Carolina, and on my way back, I stopped by to one of the Hare Krishna ISKCON temple in Pennsylvania. No, sorry, West Virginia. It was beautiful. And there was a storm in between as well, the rain, and we stopped and everything. But it was amazing. The weather was amazing. The place was amazing. And next time we just stayed for a day, half a day over there. But it was fun. So if you haven't visited, you must visit. If you need more information, you can always reach out to me. I'm always here to help. So thank you for watching. Keep watching. Keep suggesting topics. And keep sharing, because if you found this Real Estate Wisdom podcast useful to you, it might be useful to some other people as well. Love you all. Bye for now.
In this podcast is for informational purpose only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. Consult with your professional before making any real estate decisions.